is up, fantasy fans, Dark Academia fans? As always, I'm Shay from the channel Zachary Shay, narrator of The Gallant by Janny Wirtz. And today I'm going to talk about one of my new favorite subgenres within the fantasy speculative fiction genre, and that is Dark Academia. I feel like Dark Academia has been on the rise, especially with authors like Rebecca Kuang, R.F. Kuang. And, you know, I very much enjoy a lot of R.F. Kuang's work, and I enjoy a lot of Dark Academia. And I decided to go through and rank my top 5 with one honorable mention, Dark Academia novels that I've read / series. I just love following groups of students in a sort of gothic setting as they're going to class, as they're learning. But as they're learning and as they're forming these bonds of friendship, something's just not quite right. That is the pattern I've noticed in Dark Academia that keeps me coming back for more, ravenous for that sort of dark mystery that surrounds these friend groups of characters. And my honorable mention is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. How wonderful truly to have a friend whose silence you adored. And if falling in love was discovery, was letting yourself be discovered the equivalent to being loved? She gazed at Peter and thought, I wish I were the night, so that I might watch your sleep with 1,000 eyes. Now, this one has somewhat of an unconventional structure for a Dark Academia, and it's kind of blurring the lines if it is even a Dark Academia, because what it really is it's the story of Alice Law and Peter Murdoch descending into hell to get their professor's recommendation, because they're coming to the end of their degree and they need his recommendation. So they go into hell. That's what they, instead of just giving up and studying under another professor, they both decide to go into hell. This story had a lot of great elements. It could have been a 4 out of 5. For me, it was a 3 out of 5 because it did feel like it leaned into the pretension of academia a little too much. There's a lot of R.F. Kuang's flexing her logic muscles in this book, and it didn't make for an enjoyable read all the time. Like, there were times where I was just like, okay, like, but what made this shine even through some of that pretension is the amazing relationship between Alice Law and Peter Murdoch. Anytime that the book really focused on their friendship / budding awkward romance, I thought the story really, really shined and excelled. And there are a lot of flashback sections that just show them going to class and studying. It's great. It's great. I love the characters of Alice Law and Peter Murdoch. I just wish R.F. Kuang had dialed back some of the logic theorems a little bit, because at a certain point I'm like, okay, in a lot of the times it was obvious that she was satirizing some of the pretension of academia, but satirizing it and still leaning into it and still doing the thing you're satirizing, to me, just came off as a little ironic and sometimes had me face palming. But overall, I would still say it's worth a read if you are a Rebecca Kuang fan. Let's get into the real top 5 here. And at my number 5 spot, I have a series I adore. And that is the Ninth House series, the Galaxy CERN series, Book 1, Ninth House, Book 2, Hellbent. I want to survive this world that keeps trying to destroy me. That was what magic did. It revealed the heart of who you'd been before life took away your belief in the possible. It gave back the world all lonely children longed for. Oh, I love these covers. This is actually the most fun series in this video. I love, love, love this series. It's just that it doesn't feel as much like a Dark Academia as the rest. You follow Galaxy Stern as she is recruited by Yale University to be involved in what is the Ninth House. There's 8 different houses at Yale University that do different like occult things. And there's the Ninth House that is comprised of like 3 people, and they're in charge of monitoring these different houses and making sure these Nepo babies with magical abilities aren't running amok and causing too much trouble. This is actually a pretty prestigious and coveted position within the Ninth House. We follow Galaxy and we follow her mentor Darlington. And Darlington is like very much like the studious, the hardworking. He worked to get here. He was able to create this potion that allows you to see ghosts, which is what most members of the Ninth House employ to do their job. Galaxy is not that. She's not that studious student. She has a tumultuous past that we as the reader are not aware of when the book begins. But we do know that she was recruited because she has a special ability. She can see ghosts without the potion, and she can see them with color, and she may even be able to interact with them. And a mystery abounds as crazy stuff goes on at Yale University. Love, love, love Ninth House. Can't wait for book 3. It is, I wouldn't even say it's my 5th favorite of the ones I'm about to list. It's probably closer to like my 3rd favorite. But in terms of like what it accomplishes as a dark academia is probably the lowest on this list, but I really, really, really love it. I think it's well worth the read. I cannot wait for book 3. And it is definitely it's not my favorite book on this list, but it is the most fun. Like when I think about it, it's just like a fun page turner of a book. And my number 4 spot, I actually don't have a copy, but it is The Magician's Trilogy by Lev Grossman. If there is a single lesson that life teaches us, it's that wishing doesn't make it so. For just 1 second, look at your life and see how perfect it is. Stop looking for the next secret door that is going to lead you to your real life. Stop waiting. This is it. There's nothing else. It's here and you'd better decide to enjoy it, or you're going to be miserable wherever you go for the rest of your life. Forever. So we have book 1, Magicians, book 2, Magician King, and book 3, The Magician's Land. We follow Quentin Coldwater and his group of friends, the physics kids, as they, go to Brakebills University. But the reason this is at number 4 on my list, despite the first book being an excellent magic academia book, is even halfway through book 1, the academic elements kind of flutter out and we get more of like a Narnia go into a mystical world type story. But I still think a big appeal to that first novel is the academic setting, is following Quentin as he's going to Brakebills. It goes through like his 5 years pretty quickly, so we don't get as much as the day in the life classes as we would like a Harry Potter or the rest of these dark academia books. So, there is that, but I do think The Magicians, it's panned a lot on BookTube. I think it's one of the best trilogies I've ever read. Definitely in my top 20 trilogies of all time. I don't know about my top 10, but I really loved it. I read it when I was a freshman in high school, so I may need to return to it, but that is why it's at my number 4 spot of dark academia books. All right, and at my number 3 spot, and this one kind of sparked my newfound interest in dark academia recently, and that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. English did not just borrow words from other languages. It was stuffed to the brim with foreign influences, a Frankenstein vernacular. And Robin found it incredible how this country, whose citizens prided themselves so much on being better than the rest of the world, could not make it through an afternoon tea without borrowed goods. This is how colonialism works. It convinces us that the fallout from resistance is entirely our fault, that the immoral choice is resistance itself rather than the circumstances that demanded it. Yeah, so I bounced off the last book in the Poppy War trilogy pretty hard. That's more of an epic fantasy story. So I was kind of apprehensive about giving R.F. Kuang another shot. And man, am I glad I did. Babel is an absolute masterpiece. This book is so incredible. You follow the character of Robin Swift. He is Chinese, though he is half white, and there's more on that. He's half English. And Robin Swift is recruited to go to England to study at Oxford University at their Department of Languages, Babel. Oh my gosh, there's a beautiful friendship between him and one of the characters, Rami. And oh man, it's such a beautiful story. I love it. It really, more than just a great story about language and the repercussions of colonization and of the dangers of empire, because England in this story, the England we find in this story is very much off to form an empire, much like England from our history. And aside from just that, the socio-political statements being made in this book, what I found really, really, really emotionally resonant for me is the character of Robin Swift. There is a sort of paternal character that should be a patriarch within Robin's life that just doesn't love him the way a father should. And seeing that pain that Robin felt at not being loved by, by someone who was supposed to love him is heartbreaking. It's something I've resonated with a lot within my personal life. And I very much emotionally connected with this book, and I think it's the best of R.F. Kuang's career by a mile, actually. And I'm not an R.F. Kuang hater. I do think this is her best book by a considerable margin. Number 2 spot, and this is probably my favorite. Well, I don't know. These two are neck and neck for me. But just for the impact, number 1 had to go where it has to go. So number 2, we have If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. But that is how a tragedy like ours or King Lear breaks your heart, by making you believe that the ending might still be happy until the very last minute. What is more important, that Caesar is assassinated, or that he is assassinated by his intimate friends? That, Frederick said, is where the tragedy is. Oh my gosh, this story is so excellent. I love ML Rio's writing. I love the references to Shakespeare. We follow the character of Oliver, and Oliver has been in jail for 10 years, and we don't know what his crime is for. And that is the modern day framing narrative. But within the story that we're getting, which is 10 years previous, we know that these fourth year drama students at Delacour University, which is an art school, are putting on a production of Julius Caesar. And you know, the friend group in this story is brought to such life. Oliver is amazing, James is amazing, Richard is amazing, Meredith is amazing. Every single character in this book stands out, and it is a star-studded cast in my opinion. Every single character feels distinct. A lot of people have bounced off this because the characters can be kind of pretentious. I found the characters to have a certain charm to them, and I really enjoyed following all of them. I actually didn't think they were that terrible of people. Thought they were a little pretentious, as most drama students of some prestige will be. You know, I mean, look at Hollywood. Come on now. And then they're studying Shakespeare, so they're going to be even more pretentious. But I thought every single character just took up so much presence on the page, and it was such a joy to follow each and every one of them. I love Oliver. He has my heart. This is a tragedy in the truest sense of the word. I do have a full review up for it on my channel if you want to check it out. Shameless self-plug. And then for my number one pick, and it has to be this. This is actually a very recent read for me, and it will go down as one of the best books that I've read in my life. Like, by the time I'm dead, I cannot see this not being in my top 100 novels. This is a brilliant work of fiction, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Does such a thing as the fatal flaw, that showy dark crack running down the middle of a life, exist outside literature? I used to think it didn't. Now I think it does, and I think that mine is this: a morbid longing for the picturesque at all costs. It's a very Greek idea, and a very profound one. Beauty is terror. Whatever we call beautiful, we quiver before it. And what could be more terrifying and beautiful to souls like the Greeks or our own than to lose control completely? To throw off the chains of being for an instant, to shatter the accident of our mortal selves. Euripides speaks of the Maenads. To be absolutely free, one is quite capable, of course, of working out these destructive passions in more vulgar and less efficient ways. After reading this, every other dark academia, in terms of what it's doing as a commentary on academia and on the classics and on the different things being studied within the narrative, everything pales in comparison to this. Donna Tartt's knowledge of the Greek, of literature in general, of the human condition is astounding. We have the main character of Richard Papin as he joins this group, this Greek study group, and we know from the onset, from the preface, that they have killed Bunny Cochrane. Well, his name is Edmund, but they've killed a character named Bunny. And you see Richard as he gets indoctrinated into this very almost cult-like friends group, that they're all volatile in their own different ways, and he just gets swept up. It's like magnetic, especially the character of Henry Winter, who is like the most intelligent of this group of friends. You see as Richard is drawn inexorably beyond any ability for him to control. He's just drawn in by these people and wants to be like them. And oh man, it is a brilliant work of fiction. So yeah, that's my ranking. If you have a different ranking, let me know. And if you've read any of these books, please comment down below and let me know what you thought. And as always, stay safe, guys. Peace.